Hey, Dr. Nichols, you got us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you loud and clear.
All right. I can hear you.
And we see you.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
See my mug book.
With a beautiful artwork in the background.
Yes, I'm in a forest. It's all black and white though.
Okay.
Hey Ken, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
All right, good. I remember you from the golf tournament.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was a good time. That was a lot of time.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again someday.
No, absolutely. I enjoyed that, and I also enjoyed your whole 18 when you surprised everybody. Ken,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the gunshot go off, but
No, I didn't. What happened?
no, Dr. Nichols, what are those balls called? Those golf balls? It's
they're
like
called
got the
softballs.
firecracker in it or whatever.
The problem is,
Oh, you got one of those exploding golf balls?
Yeah.
What's it called? No, the new ones that came out. They're just incredibly loud.
This one
I can't
doesn't
remember them.
explode though. It actually was a good shot.
Yeah.
The problem is that they're made in China, so I had no clue what was going to happen when I hit the darn thing.
Well, needless to say, he didn't tell anybody, and we're on hole 18, and he let it rip, and I think every single one of us jumped.
He did more than that.
It was loud. It was loud.
Yeah, that's funny. That is too funny. I've always wanted to see those in action. I must have left.
It was loud. I was really impressed. It did work.
Yeah, it worked. That's for certain. I think I got a video. I think after the scare one, I took a video of you doing it again. I'll have to try to dig that up.
Yeah, I have that one. I wanted to make sure you guys were filming
it. Yeah, I got it the second time.
Good deal.
So we have any people watching or joining us?
Still waiting. We'll give it another few minutes, and then we like to do a little trivia beforehand, and this will be a good one today.
Well, I wonder what that is.
I didn't tell Ken about this as well, so he'll enjoy this too. Usually we do a trivia based off the previous presentation, but this one threw a little spin on it.
Oh, nice.
Per Dr. Headley's recommendation, actually.
He's always got some creative ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Never know what to expect.
Jose's in the house. How's it going, Jose? Jose, send a chat. I just want to make sure chat's working if you could. Yep, got it. All right, we'll give it one more minute. One more minute, we'll get it going. Dr. Nichols, as I had mentioned, this is on recording, so we will be putting this on YouTube, and I'll make sure Lisa gets a copy of it as well.
Sounds good. You're going to put it on CBS, NBC, ABC,
we're going to
Fox
blast
News.
it everywhere.
If you do that, we'll get blasted too.
We'll get your face out there.
The price of fame.
That's great.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen. We're going to do the weekly trivia. I got a special one this week. Let me know if you guys can see screen. It might take a second.
Huh, I recognize that.
Hey, don't give it away. So the trivia question today is, which renowned artist crafted a depiction of the human spine in this artwork? And the choices that we have: A, Is it Leonardo da Vinci? B, Vincent van Gogh? C, Pablo Picasso? Or D, none of the above? Go ahead and put your answers in chat. Jose, please participate.
It's me. That's what I'm going
We got Ken in there too.
with.
Jose Delgado with an A. I like that. That's bold.
Oh, cool.
All right. All right. We'll give it another 15 seconds. So again, the question, which renowned artist crafted a depiction of the human spine in this artwork? And we'll go back to the previous screen for that. Oops, I went too far. So the answer is in fact D, none of the above.
Oh.
And if you look a little closer here in these two images, you can see the real artist here, S. Nichols.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So Dr. Nichols looks old enough to be this type of draw.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Jose, I love that.
It was early training for my hands to
I was
become
going to say, tell the audience about this, Dr. Nichols. When did you sketch this out, and what did you use?
It's ink and charcoal. And when I was in undergraduate school and in chiropractic college, I drew these and sold them to area practitioners to pay my way through college.
Wow.
That's awesome. Wow.
When you were, did you say that you took some sort of classes, and is this, I guess, is this self-taught, or is this a hobby of yours since you were growing up?
Yeah, it has to come from you. So it's self-taught. I just love drawing cartoons to spines.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Jose, maybe next time. Good guess, though.
I like being in the company of Van
Yeah.
Gogh, Da Vinci, but I'm not the same age.
So we'll go ahead and dive into today's subject matter. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. And today's topic is going to be on peer review in chiropractic and medical care. I'm Ray Walters. I will be your host for today's session. I'm also joined today by my co-host, Mr. Ken Wood, who is a local business owner and sales consultant. Ken, glad to have you back. I know in the past we've done some OSHA related topics.
Yeah, man.
And,
it sure has been a minute. It's good to be here. Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. And today we do have a special guest joining us, Dr. Stephen Nichols, a renowned expert in the field of chiropractic and medical care with over 3 decades of experience, who we will be interviewing on the peer review in chiropractic and medical care. And before I go any further, Dr. Nichols, glad to have you. I did want to share some updates with the audience as well. Again, for those that are joining new, we've been conducting these webinars since, let's say, end of September towards the end of September of 2023. But just a quick background, company that we represent is EPICompliance. We started in 2013, and we've designed compliance solutions for healthcare organizations, healthcare students, and business associates alike. In reference to OSHA, HIPAA privacy, HIPAA security, and Medicare waste, fraud, and abuse regulations. We also founded EPI Conferences, which is a in-person event that we've been hosting each year. That sort of revolves around compliance and innovation. And one of the trainings that we've offered at these events is a certified HIPAA security officer training program. Very geared towards individuals, business owners, compliance officers, healthcare administrators, very geared towards a deeper dive into HIPAA and what that all entails. And this is a certification that, again, for those of you that are joining us new, we are going to be offering this in a online format here very soon. And I actually have an update to share with that. We are looking to go live, target go live by the end of May. And right now we're sort of working on a pre-registration for those that are interested in taking this course. And I'll have an update on next week's webinar for that as well. like I said, for those that are interested, pre-registration will be released soon. So, but again, back to the presentation. Back to Dr. Nichols, who obviously has an impressive set of credentials. Just to add a few more, he's been practicing as a board certified nutrition physician, and as mentioned, a chiropractic physician here in the Jacksonville area for the past for over 3 decades. He is the owner and director of Science-Based Wellness in Ponte Vedra Beach, where he offers his nutrition and wellness program to patients of all ages. And Dr. Nichols, glad to have you here. Anything that I missed?
No, that's good. I can't believe it's been 33 years, but appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, no, likewise. Glad to have you here, and can't wait to hear a little bit more about the peer review process and everything that entails. And again, Dr. Nichols is with us today. He's going to share his insights on the critical role of peer review. He'll also be discussing how insurance companies utilize peer review in their decision-making processes, the legal implications, and strategies for navigating common challenges. So without further ado, let's sort of dive into those questions, shall we? So Dr. Nichols, I guess where we can start is explain the importance behind peer review in the chiropractic and Medicare field, and how that helps to ensure quality and efficiency of care.
Well, I'll answer that, but first of all, a peer review, to define it, is
Sure.
basically one of your peers in your same specialty reviewing records that are submitted to the peer reviewer by the insurance companies. And the insurance companies provide certain questions to be answered after the peer reviewer looks at the records. This is different than an independent medical examination. In an independent medical examination, the doctor can actually schedule an appointment with the patient and physically hands-on perform an exam and review their history of the injury and past history, etc. So the peer review process, I think it's beneficial to the efficacy of care and quality, because I think it's going to help chiropractors and treating practitioners follow evidence-based medical practice guidelines, which I think in turn will improve the quality of care for the patient, make sure the doctor's laying out a very specific treatment plan with some guidance, better outcomes for the patient, and it does to some degree control medically unnecessary services, products, treatments, etc. And I think from the insurance company's viewpoint, they're looking at it from a cost savings point, but hopefully not sacrificing patients' needs and treatment at the same time. And I will provide some specific guideline references that are helpful for chiropractors in guiding you into how to manage the patient and actually decrease your chance of having your services or products denied in a peer review.
No, good information, and that is Dr. Nichols. We will provide those references to the audience as well. After this webinar, we will be sending out some correspondence, and we'll make sure that we include that in there. But
I'll just give a general overview of what those are. It's not
Sure.
complicated. So there is the Council for Chiropractic Guidance and Practice Protocols or Parameters. And there's a very good algorithms guideline. It's called Algorithms for the Chiropractic Management of Acute and Chronic Spine-Related Pain. And in that guideline, they provide specific definitions of chronic versus acute, evaluation components, specific guidelines for obtaining history, red flags, complicating factors, assessment tools, etc. So it's extremely helpful for the doctor, and it also adheres to what the insurance companies are looking for the practitioner to provide. And again, you'll have those available so they can actually get those specifics and not have to forget. And one other guideline I think is very important. Go to the insurance companies, just Google the name of the insurance company and put in medical necessity for whatever that treatment, service, or product is, before you provide it, and find out exactly what that specific insurance company considers medically necessary, and just use the language and do exactly what they lay out. So if you're ever challenged or a peer reviewer denies one of your services, you can always reference their specific language. It would be hard for them to not agree with that.
That's interesting.
No, that's good information, and as mentioned, that is information that we will be providing in post correspondence as well. We'll share those references. That's awesome.
I will add to that one of the most important things is, and I look for this too when I'm looking at records, if the doctor didn't write it down, it just never happened. So it's so important that whatever you're recommending, put it down in writing and the reasoning. And also, it's very important to document changes in your patient over time. And there are good tools for using pain scales, visual analogs, et cetera, where you can objectify the patient's symptoms and subjective findings and show some evidence of change in the condition, such as improvement, or that they're not improving or even getting worse.
I had another question from a legal perspective. How can peer review impact lawsuits or other legal proceedings? What are the implications for practitioners in that case?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I would think the peer reviews are not going to be as strong from a lawsuit perspective than if you had an independent medical exam where you, the practitioner or the reviewer or the independent examiner, physically had hands-on access to perform the exam. And I think it would even be stronger. And sometimes this happens where the patient's attorney is actually attending or present during the exam with a videographer. I think that would be lock solid, the best format for a lawsuit. However, peer reviews are often used because once the insurance companies have that information, that helps them to make a decision of whether or not they want to proceed and set up an appointment for an independent medical exam as well.
So it's almost like a prerequisite then, a peer review.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, there are questions that the insurance company specifically ask the reviewer, and it would help any of my colleagues watching to write these down, or Ray, I think if you can have these accessible to them.
Sure.
These are the 4 common questions that the insurance companies ask the reviewer to answer. And so if you know these questions, you can make sure you have them answered properly in your documentation. And the first question is the provided treatment related to the injuries diagnosed and documented in the clinical record? Second question, based on review of the submitted records, my clinical experience and applicable research, was the patient's condition caused by the injury or accident? The third question is, was the provided treatment, services, products, and testing medically necessary for the patient? And the last question, does the patient need further treatment? So I think it would help my colleagues to know these questions and make sure that they have those properly answered in the records to avoid any discontinuing of care or the reviewer striking down any services or products or treatment. The most common services that we often deny would be things like products like TENS units, lumbar belts or braces that are very expensive, the high-end ones that are prefabricated, custom made, rather than starting with an off-the-shelf type of brace and then determining in your records that it either failed to give the desired result or was contraindicated. Then you can justify the next level of custom-made, prefabricated, high-end type of lumbar belt. And then sometimes shockwave therapy is denied. And I would encourage my colleagues, go to the insurance company's medical necessity on shockwave and look at all the myriad of conditions that they consider medically necessary, and just make sure you use that language and that you're using it for that specific purpose. And then other ones would be cold laser therapy and MRIs. Believe it or not, some MRIs are often run or ordered the very first day the practitioner sees the patient. But in addition to that, they have no documented written record that there are any positive findings in the orthopedic, neurological, chiropractic exam that indicates potential disc injury or radicular findings or neurological issues that would warrant an MRI to get a closer look at that. Or if they're not responding to a trial period of care for, let's say, 30 days, and you're not at least getting over 50% improvement, an MRI would be justified in order to answer questions as to why the patient is not responding as the practitioner would expect.
Wow.
Another question: these peer reviews, are these typically accident related situations, or really just with any case? Or I don't know if you can elaborate on that a little bit.
They could be on any case.
Yeah.
I probably see more that are related to personal injury, automobile accidents, or trip and fall, pedestrian accidents where the car hits the pedestrian.
It's funny, the IMEs, or the independent medical evaluations. There is a orthopedic surgeon that shares space with us, and he'll come down once a month and see patients. The attorney comes into the office and a videographer, and the attorney's always I guess a good person to have there, because they're sort of keeping the patient or not, I guess not
Well,
overindulging.
I actually prefer and welcome the videographer and attorney, because what that does is it protects me from the patient saying something that was not done, or it just eliminates any misperceptions.
Sure, that makes sense.
So I welcome that, but that's not always the case. I'd say probably 1 out of every 20 cases, they'll send in the attorney. Sometimes they'll just send in the videographer without the attorney. But those are helpful. I actually appreciate it. Most my colleagues might feel that you'd be intimidated by that, or it makes you feel uneasy, but it's actually I encourage it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you know, I've been sitting on this one a little while, and I don't want it to come out of left field. But I am curious to know. I was telling Ray this earlier. I was curious to ask this question, and really it relates to COVID-19 pandemic and all of that we went through, and how that specifically affected peer reviews, practices, chiropractic, medical field kind of stuff. Have there been any sort of notable changes or maybe adaptations at all when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic?
You know, that's a good question. At the top of my head, I'd have to say there's nothing that really jumps at me that's been any different. I'd like to say maybe the patients are a little more perceptive and on guard. I think I pick up on that.
Yeah.
And so that's going to force the practitioner to be more focused and not lose sight of the situation. In other words, if he's doing any therapy or exam, to be very careful, because the patients are being more observant, I think. Right. Other than that, I really haven't seen any other changes.
Interesting. Yeah, that does. I guess that shouldn't surprise me too much, but I was just kind of alluding to the fact you just made, where the sensitive nature with which people are kind of adopting to maybe new methods of healthcare. You know, I kind of was curious if that medical process or peer review process would have changed at all, but it sounds like it hasn't. You're the second person that said that, the second doctor. So
I would say if any of my colleagues, please get in touch with Ray and let us know if you've seen anything that I haven't seen. I'd really like to know.
No, absolutely.
That's very curious. Very curious.
I had one more question, Dr. Nichols. I know you sort of went over it earlier, the sort of the four medical necessities that are beneficial, obviously, before really going through the peer review process to sort of know before you submit anything. But um, how can practitioners sort of leverage the peer review process to improve the quality of care to provide their patients? Is there any other strategies that they can, sort of deploy, or do you think the medical necessities is really the sort of the you know the thing that you need to know?
That's a great question. I think we always have to remember these are just guidelines, and a
Mhm.
lot of it's going to be dependent on the practitioner's clinical decision making. That's what makes you a doctor.
Sure.
You, it's not just doing the procedures and going through the format, but making good, sound, fair, and logical decisions, and using some references to guide you, but making good decisions that make just common sense. But I think it's always helpful to know ahead of time what the insurance companies expect and what they define as medical necessity. There really is no definition of a medical necessity. I think that's the way it was set up,
Mhm.
because it would be hard to make one specific definition. Healthcare is not a pure science like math. It's open for debate, questions, modifications, etc. But using the guidelines is going to certainly make the process easier. You'll be compensated more efficiently for what you're doing. I hate to see docs not get paid for what they did only because they didn't document it correctly. The patient may need that service, but if it wasn't documented or written down, it's considered as though it just never happened. And one other thing, make sure that you write your notes where they're legible, or I mean, if I can't read what it is and why you're doing it because you scribbled it, then it never happened. Nobody else can read it either. So you might want to have them pre-typed reasons, or just print, or write it clearly and legible. I know that's hard because we all took that class in med
Listen,
school, how to write.
I
Right.
my handwriting's not the greatest, so I can see that. Yeah, I see, I see where you're coming from. Um, but no, that's that's good information. There's apps out there too. You can talk. What is it called? It's like you can talk through a headset and it'll translate it into Microsoft Word or whatever. There's several methods.
There you go. I'm sure there's several options
Yeah,
to
yeah.
getting it legible.
Well, I don't think I have any other questions. Ken, I didn't know if you had anything else to
No, I
add
was
to.
always really curious about the COVID aspect of that, because that changed the landscape so much. So no, that was a big one. I appreciate you answering that, Dr. Nichols.
Did
You
you have
got it.
anything
And
else to
hopefully,
add to,
well,
Dr.
no,
Nick?
hopefully I made this as it's really not complicated when you get down to it. It's just knowing the general guides and rules, and just keep it simple, but follow the rules. And I think your service, the compliance, is very beneficial because you guys have made it simple. And that's something in the back of the minds of all my colleagues is, boy, what happens if I get audited? Am I, it's not necessary to have that constant fear of what will happen if you have it already covered. It's a good insurance policy.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate uh, again to the audience. Dr. Nichols is a client of EPICompliance. And again, he utilizes our platform for all the compliance training for his staff, policies, procedures, business associate agreements, tasking, and ultimately, it's compliance isn't going anywhere, right? And it's better to be prepared and not.
Be
And
prepared.
that's what we're here for. And those events, knock on wood, I've seen practices go their entire tenure without receiving an audit. But like I said, the bottom line is be prepared. And
I think that may be one change since the pandemic. I have heard through the grapevine there's more audits, and there may be more coming.
absolutely, yep,
Yeah, I imagine there would be. Jeez.
no, absolutely. And again, when it comes to these audits, it's completely at random.
It's a nightmare.
But I always say this, and again, Dr. Nichols, not saying it's you, but every practice has that one bad egg of a patient. What I mean by that is you provide premier customer service, right? But they're just never happy, right? And it takes that one interaction. Hey, I'm contacting Health and Human Services Department. Next thing you know, it's just a matter of time. And like I said, that's what we're here for. Keep all the compliance stuff in one place through our platform, the training, policies, etc. And in the event of inspection, we're also here to help as well. We do provide audit response. But
hey, Ray, I noticed Jose had volunteered some info, I think.
Yeah, we'll sort of open it up to just a quick Q&A. Jose did have a question. He said, do you think that AI will replace the peer review process and at least expedite determinations?
Well, I don't know how to answer that, except anything's possible. If AI is replacing legal secretaries and paralegals, who's to say it can't replace other fractions of healthcare? But we'll have to wait and see. Let the lawyers battle it out and determine just how fair that is. Good question.
I would say,
wish I had a crystal ball.
Yeah. I would say in that industry, it's pretty, what's the word? Maybe oversaturated. So it'd be interesting to see if they came out with something, some sort of AI for that. Don't know if that would be a good thing, a bad thing. I don't know.
Now, the worst thing is if they have the artificial intelligent robot doing the exam.
Oh, jeez.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Dr. Nichols would
be a rough story.
Dr. Nichols would be working for us then on the compliance.
I'll be out of a job.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, Dr. Nichols, I did put a slide up here with your contact information. As mentioned, we will those links that you're going to be, those references that you provided me, I will be sending that out to the audience as well in correspondence. But I got Dr. Nichols' website on here, his phone number, and email as well. If you'd like to connect, or if you have any additional questions that may have gone unanswered, he certainly.
Yeah, I look forward to anybody calling or emailing me. And I don't claim to have all the answers, but I may be able to help kind of guide you into some resources. So I look forward to helping my colleagues any way I can.
Absolutely. No, we appreciate your time, Dr. Nichols, and we'll look to have you on again.
Okay.
Maybe not necessarily related to the peer review process, but maybe there's some other topics that we can sort of dive into related to the same. So
yeah, look forward to it, Ray. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you again too, Ken.
You as well. Yeah, we'll look forward to the exploding golf ball next time.
Yes. Inside joke. Email for the answers.
We're still working on well, obviously we took this year off for the EPICompliance event, but 2025, I think we're going to reassess. And Jose, you might have a better idea, but I would hope that if we do another in-person event, that we do have a golf tournament, because I did enjoy that, and I think our sponsors and our attendees enjoyed that as well.
And I had to do the exploding golf ball primarily because as a chiropractor, we do have to crack you up.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
That was a bad one.
All right. Way to end
it. I will say this: if we don't end up on the same team, you gotta pull that prank on us on the next unsuspecting guest.
It only works once.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, Dr. Nichols. Well, hey, we'll see you on the next one. And again, everybody, everyone that attended today. Appreciate your time. I hope this brought some value to you. And next week's topic, we will be talking about the CARES Act. So look out for some correspondence regarding the registration for that. We'll be next Tuesday at 1:35 p.m. Eastern Standard. Look to see you guys then. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
You too. Have a great day.
See ya.
Sunshine, give me the star. try.